It's only Christmas. Welcome back to Cut No Corners. I'm Corbin.
And I'm Joe.
And on tonight's episode, we are going to be discussing Halloween movies, keeping in theme with spooky season, talking about slashers versus thrillers, should sci-fi horror count, best movies that you remember, what scared you growing up as a kid, like what movies, what scenes, what freaks you out as an adult still today.
While we do that, we're going to be playing some Among Us again. Oh, as you can see.
Oh, that was quick.
Dead body. I have no idea because I was doing a task all by myself. You already killed 2 people.
Teal. Voting teal.
Teal, cyan. Killed in cafe. I don't know what cafe is. Cyan, alright. Sounds good to me.
He says join for fun, first murdered. Get out of here!
So yeah, Corbin, you had a lot more experience with movies growing up. Your parents and your family were movieaholics. A lot more than my family was.
Yeah, in my household growing up, in part because my uncle worked at Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Yes. My parents got access to a ton of movies. We literally owned like 2,000 VHSs and even more DVDs when those became a thing, and then they almost that high again with Blu-rays until streaming became a thing, and then collecting movies just became kind of redundant.
So Corbin was actually somebody who watched so many movies that when I was in college and my buddies and I needed a movie to watch, I used to tell them to call Corbin. And they would say, why? How could he possibly know movies? And I would tell them to remember one saying. Ask yourself this, is it a movie? Then Corbin's seen it.
So when streaming became a thing, collecting actual physical movies became sort of unnecessary. Anyways, that's just a little bit of a background as to why I'm a bit of a movie buff, or at least I'd like to think so. As far as horror movies go, I don't really specialize in them because growing up, obviously they freaked me out. They freaked a lot of people out. I got a little bit more into them after I started dating my wife because she's into the Halloween season. She likes watching scary movies. So to kick things off, slashers versus thrillers. Hot take for you, Joe. If you gun to your head, which would you think is kind of like a more in theme or more appropriate, one of your go-tos when it comes to, this is the week of Halloween, what are you watching? Is it I'm Dead, It Was Orange? Oh,
Damn it, Corbin.
I shouldn't have spoiled it.
Well, then I will only vote for whatever the other people vote for.
Oba, save Brown. Brown's about to die.
What do you want me to do about
Oh,
it?
God. I don't know. Put a meeting on. He's about to die. Blah. He's in half. So, yeah, gun to your head, Joe. Which would you say is going to be your go-to if your wife is like, I want to watch a Halloween movie. It's the week of Halloween. A slasher or like a psychological horror?
Speaking of slashers, I'm about to get murdered.
Yeah, you are. He is following you. Woo!
Reported that body.
Alright, can you vote orange? Because this time he was following you. That's an actual sus thing. Even without me giving you the answer, he totally had grounds for being voted for. And
I don't even know what happened. There was like 1 second.
no one was ejected. Why?
If I'm going to choose between slashers and thrillers, I'm going to pick thrillers because I would rather watch psychological horror that keeps me on the edge of my seat and real confused the whole time, and then it all comes together at the end, than a movie that's just about a bunch of murders and body mutilation. I'm not a big body mutilation person, and to that I mean like cutting arms off, cutting legs off, cutting heads off, and all the blood and stuff. So I would rather watch something that makes you think.
I personally agree with that. Like, with psychological horror, it's typically ones that makes you think. You have to actually like try to predict what is happening usually, since it's like some sort of crazy explanation that you have to try to kind of puzzle together and piece the clues up, that the director's trying to like hint at, or the writers are trying to hint at. As far as slashers go, those are just more of like, I can't even put my finger on what draws the appeal for that, but there are people who love those things.
Those are the ones where you watch them and you're like, why do you make such stupid decisions?
Yes. Yeah, like, don't go in there! Like, yelling at the screen. Maybe that's why, because, like, it's like a communal thing where you're all like, oh, what would you do if this happened? Or how would you react if this person was chasing you? Would you go upstairs, or would you go for the phone? Would you, yada yada. It's funny that you talked about the mutilation thing, because I actually have a coworker, Anthony, who loves that stuff. But yeah, some people just love gore for whatever reason. It just scratches an itch for them. As far as like the best psychological horror movies, what are some of the ones that you think of off the top of your head? Because I know for me, I'm thinking things like The Shining. I mean, I would also qualify like Get Out or Us. Some psychological horrors you could also count like there's also supernatural movies. I mean, there's a lot more subgenres than slashers versus thrillers, because you got supernatural versus monster movies. And do you count like monster movies in the same vein as things like Halloween, where you have Michael Myers, because he's basically a human monster, and same thing with Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th. Another question I had though was, do you count for Halloween season like a sci-fi horror? And what I mean by that is like the movie Alien. Not Aliens. Aliens is like a straight action. I mean, yes, it's got scary elements, but Alien, that was a total, like, a slow burn. Didn't know where this one alien was on the ship.
Yeah, I'd say they're in the Halloween theme of getting creeped out. So anything that gets creeped out is in the Halloween theme for me. So I remember, like, I was never a big jump scare kid. Whenever people went real big and they did the creepy thing, those freaked me out on Halloween. They would hide in there. They'd make it look like there was a fake person on the porch, but it was actually them, and then they'd grab your hand as you grab candy. Yeah, I did not like that. Damn it, guys. How'd you know it was me?
I just listened to them and I wasn't biased. Woo!
How did they know it was me? I didn't do anything.
I got no idea, but I'm glad they pointed at you. Whoa, I got super speed on or something right now. Fast as boy.
So yeah, growing up, I was never a big jump scare kid, but that's the thing that gets you on Halloween. So any movie that has like those creepy moments where you never know what's gonna happen, make you feel hair on the back of your neck stand up, I think those count as Halloween-themed creepy movies, thrillers. Just the way they make you feel puts them in that category. So the ones that always get me are The Ring and The Grudge. Those ones are just super creepy. Yeah. I don't like the twitchy walk thing where they walk on all fours and then they just twitch towards the camera.
Yeah, they're like jerking and they get contorting and they got like double joints on their double joints.
Yeah, I do not like that.
I'm always doing shit like to like the camera.
Yep, I've come to enjoy being scared at certain times, but my scared level is I'm a very talkative scared person, so when I'm scared, I just like to talk a lot during the movie.
Like, okay, what's happening? Don't open that door.
Exactly. Why are we here?
Why are you going into the basement?
Why did we go here? Let's turn around, guys.
The flashlight battery stopped. Oh, God.
Exactly.
Oh, of course. Oh, the lighter's going out. Oh, jeez.
So a movie I really enjoyed recently was The Visit, and I won't spoil the ending. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest you go watch it.
You already spoiled it for me.
I was trying to remember the name. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so you know it has
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
It's called The Visit.
Yeah.
Not The Village?
No, The Visit.
Okay.
It's an M. Night Salami movie.
Salami.
So it has, always the M. Night Shyamalan movies, they have the twist ending.
The twist.
Where you're like, I know what's gonna happen. Oh, what?
Psych.
So it definitely does that at the end.
You know what? You're right. As far as bringing up M. Night Shyamalan, he does have a couple movies that would fit in the Halloween genre. Because, I mean, you could totally get away with watching Sixth Sense right now, or Signs. I mean, either one of those are perfect for spooky season.
The Mist is also pretty good. It's not...
Oh, yeah.
It is, I would count it as a psychological thriller. It has that same type of, especially the ending. Another one I won't spoil if you haven't seen. There's another twist that really gets you in the feels. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I mean, if you've seen The Mist, don't spoil it for anybody in the comments, but it is a gut-wrencher. And I would actually classify that as kind of a hybrid, because that's not just a psychological one, because of the unknown that's in The Mist, but and the actual, like, strife between the surviving people in the store. It is also a slasher because of what the monsters do to people in that movie. It's gruesome. So me and my wife just got done watching Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. That one is a pretty solid Halloween movie, just for like a monster slasher. The first one was a little bit better, simply because of like, it's got the moments we're talking about where it's like, don't go down that tunnel! What are you doing down that dark hole? It's like you're just screaming at the TV screen. And there's a scene when they do that, the sister in the movie's even saying like, when you watch horror movies, and you're somebody does something really stupid and you're wondering why they do it. That's you right now. And it's a little bit meta for them to do that, but I don't know. They do it well and they pull it off. Another one that actually came out a lot more recently than Jeepers Creepers, because that came out in like 2001, was Ready or Not. We just saw that for the first time last night. That one is an excellent, like, kind of slasher. It's more like a suspense thriller slasher. I don't know. It's definitely, I wouldn't call it psychological, but it's basically like murder, hide and seek. If anybody's seen the trailer, that's not a spoiler. That's just the plot of the movie, basically. Would you count, I mean, I already asked about sci-fi thrillers like Alien, but would you count Predator? Because that's like a monster movie in general, like a sci-fi monster movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that one as much, because I would say that's more of a monster
But
movie.
you count Alien.
Alien, at least the early Aliens, they were more the psychological thriller, kind of like the Jaws at the beginning, where you know there's an omnipresent force that you're going against, but you never see it.
Right, it's the suspense of, like, the anticipation.
Yeah. The later Aliens, where there's like 100,000 aliens coming at you, yeah, those ones are more monster. But Alien 1, the first Alien, that one I would count as more of a psychological thriller.
That's another good point, is that you should not count monster movies in general as like Halloween themed or like spooky season themed, because monster movies include things like King Kong and Godzilla, but at the same time things like The Blob technically count, and those are definitely not Halloween-y.
Yeah.
So the other question I wanted to ask is, what particular moment in like movie history as a kid or as an adult just freaked you out, like one that just haunted you and stuck with you and you, like, kept you up at night?
So the only one I can think of, and I don't have the actual movie because I can't remember what it was from, but I have the mental picture in my mind. There was a movie, again, don't know which one, but there was a woman in it who was decomposing like in a body of water or something like that, but she came back alive and started attacking people.
And it's not The Ring?
It's not The Ring. She was, in my mind, she was all green. It was before The Ring. It was when I was less than 10 years old. And this woman would, I don't even know what she would do, but the mental picture of it in my mind freaked me out for the longest time, and I was scared to go in my own basement because I thought she was down there. I would turn the light on, sprint down there, sprint back up, turn the light off, slam the door shut, and it was, I don't know what it was about it. Can't tell you what movie it was, but the mental picture I still have in my brain. What was a moment for you that you can remember?
A scene that freaked me out as a kid. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I was at my friend's house who lived across the street. We were good buddies, neighbors. We were watching the 1980s film The Thing with Kurt Russell. Classic sci-fi horror movie with amazing practical effects that are still very disturbing today if you watch it. And the scene in particular, by the time we got to the part where the actual creature had copied the dogs, because he made his way into the kennel, and the huskies were like splitting apart and de-skinning, and their organs were showing, they were all like slimy and wet, and their fangs and veins and stuff were popping, and growling and weird grotesque noises and curdling was happening. and my buddy, he actually had a dog that was kind of like a husky at the time. And his mom walked in and was like, "Ooh, do you boys want me to turn this movie off?" And we just like both looked up at it and was like, "Yes." Like, we were freaked the hell out. And I remember having nightmares about that for a couple of years after that. But nowadays, I mean, The Thing is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. That was an amazing movie, because that had not just the slasher moments, but it had the anticipation, the sitting on the edge of your seat, and like the psychological part when they were trying to identify. It was actually very similar to Among Us, where you had to identify who the imposter was, since you did not know who was the alien. It could copy anybody. So that one's got to be my favorite. I know there's a whole other genre out there. Like, my wife in particular loves the movies like Hocus Pocus or Practical Magic. These are more on the light-hearted side.
Yeah, my wife loves Halloween Town.
Halloween Town. Absolutely. I mean, there are going to be people here. We haven't really talked much about that this episode, but there's going to be some people out there, or some people who watch this, who hate thrillers and slashers and, prefer things like those types of movies. Yes, they're fun. Nightmare Before Christmas. That one I'm still on the fence about of even including in on this season, because that's also a Christmas movie. But which would you... I mean, you've seen Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
What would you count as a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? Or are you watching it dead center, like November 30th?
I would say that it's a...
Makes you think?
I would lean towards Halloween movie, because a majority of the movie actually takes place in Halloween Village.
Halloween Town.
Was it Town? I wanted to say that, but then there's the movie
There's
Halloween
Christmas Town and Halloween Town. It does take place... I mean, they literally... The opening to the movie...
This is Halloween.
That one... It's because they just got done with the night of Halloween. So the entire movie takes place after October, leading to December 25th. And the majority of the movie is about leading to Christmas. So it's kind of... I don't know, that's a hybrid. You could watch it in either, to be honest.
Both.
Some people in the comments
Whatever
might put their foot down. Like, no! It's only Christmas! I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. Those are just some of the stuff that pops in our head when talking about horror movies or like Halloween spooky movies.
Yeah, so on Halloween, I'm going to prefer a spooky movie. I'm going to get all my candy together, give myself a huge stomach ache, and watch a scary movie. If that's what I would prefer to do.
And me and my wife, we tend to be more eclectic. We'll watch a slasher and a psychological and poltergeist or paranormal, sci-fi. We kind of do a different movie every night of the month. That way we don't kind of leave out anything. That's kind of our strategy every year, just to be safe. Not to cut any corners. Zing! So what's your go-to horror movie every Halloween or every October that you can't miss? Let us know in the comments.
What do you feel about Nightmare Before Christmas? Halloween? Christmas? Which one?
Which is better, slashers or psychological horror?
And if you like what we're doing here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep having fun videos like this.
Yeah, it helps keep the channel growing. That way we can keep doing what we like doing. This has been Cut No Corners. I'm Corbin.
And I'm Joe.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.